Tonight, nearly 7 weeks after Hurricane Helene impacted parts of the Bay Area, one St. Pete man is still fighting to get some of his money back on a rental property that was unsafe to live in. This is 10 Tampa Bay at 6. I'm Dave Wagner.
And I'm Courtney Robinson. It's a case that raises questions about tenants' rights and what you're responsible for paying if your property is deemed uninhabitable.
10 Tampa Bay's Helene spoke with both the tenant and the landlord about what happened here. Plus, she's getting insight from an expert so you don't lose out on money.
We came back to find about 14 inches of water inside and more like 2 feet in the garage.
Severe flooding, devastating Matthew Capron's Venetian Isles rental.
The drywall was wet, the baseboard was wet. We didn't have power, we didn't have AC, no choice, we had to get out.
He says he and his family packed up and were out fully 9 days later. But now he says he's out thousands. His landlord's still charging for the final days of September and the additional days of October when they were cleaning out.
His position is that since we were still moving items out of the house, that we need to pay full rent.
Since the hurricanes, Capron isn't alone.
But we're getting plenty of calls where landlords are seeking sums that they're not entitled to.
Consumer law expert Charles Gallagher says Capron's lease, like most lease agreements, has a casualty loss clause.
Say a tornado comes through, say a fire comes through, whatever it might be. If you can't use it, there's a provision in there, most likely, most often, that says what rights you have. And typically that right is to go ahead and withhold rent if you can't live there.
Even without that clause, he says the state protects renters within a week if they file a complaint.
There's a provision called Notice of Material Noncompliance, where it provides a tenant a 7-day written notice to a landlord to fix whatever deficient condition it is. If they don't cure that on that 8th day, the lease terminates and you're allowed to exit the lease without any kind of penalty or further rent.
Now, Capron says he wants what he's owed so he can move on.
It just kind of adds insult to injury. We were kind of ready to be done with this. Now we have to kind of go through months or years of litigation. We're not looking forward to that.
In St. Petersburg, Hannah Deneen, 10 Tampa Bay.
We did speak with Matthew Capron's landlord this afternoon. He tells us he's paid back all Capron has owned, doubling down that his tenant can be charged for not being fully vacated. He said he is prepared to take legal action if necessary to protect his own interests.